I'm not your IT. Okay, so this little gem started yesterday, currently working in managed print industry. Customer logs a call saying no devices in a building are working, so definitely server/software related. I log in with their IT. The server is freezing, and when logging in with a new account there is a disk space error. So I inform him he needs to clear it down or add some HDD space, and we can then troubleshoot anything if there are issues once it's done. Call the end user who logged the call, and let her know, but it makes no sense to her. Depressing conversation occurs. And me, morning, just calling regarding your printing issues at Site X. It's due to a server fault your IT are looking into. They should hopefully have it resolved soon, which will likely resolve your issues. And user, oh, well, the printer still isn't working. None of them are. This is urgent. And me, I understand, but your IT is looking into it due to a server fault and should have it sorted as soon as possible. And user, okay, so when are you coming out to fix it? And me, I would not be able to fix the machine on site. It is a server issue as it's run out of disk space, and your IT are looking into it. And user, this is urgent, the entire site can't print. What's the ETA on the fix? And me, I am not your IT, so I am unable to advise. You would have to call them as they need to resolve it. And user, I need an ETA to inform the users and management. And me, I'm not in your IT, so I can't give an ETA unfortunately. And user, talk to my manager. And manager, we need an ETA for the fix or send someone on site. I want this action ASAP. And me, I'm not your IT, I'm from the managed print support company. The issue is with your server and your IT are looking to fix it. An engineer from us won't be able to assist. And manager, so you are categorically stating your print engineer can't fix the printer? What kind of support is this? And me, the issue isn't with the printer, it's with the server the print software is on, which your IT are looking to fix urgently. And manager, no, the printer is not printing, so it's a printer problem, we don't have servers. And me, you do have servers, it's what governs the pull print and login for the devices, and it's currently down, your IT are looking to fix it. And manager, why are you refusing to fix this? You can't just say no, we have a support contract. And me, your IT fix your servers, we fix the printers and the software that's on the server. You need to call your IT. And manager, I'm escalating this to my director, expect a call back shortly. Click. What? The actual coconut had several calls since then I have ignored, informed their account manager what's going on. This is now his mountain of stupid to deal with. Doctor printers don't work, server has no space on C drive, IT fixing, I'm not the user's coconut IT team. Thanks for the gold. Glad it made someone's day. You are much more patient than I like to think I would have been. I read it in my own voice, getting progressively more agitated as it went on. Reading it annoyed me. That's how much I give this guy a thumbs up. I'd so want to reply along the lines of this is the number for the person fixing the problem and give them their own phone number. The great Adam Carolla called that doing laps where they ask the same question in a different way, expecting somehow it will get a different answer. Amazing amount of sheer stupidity. I hope all your calls are recorded if they escalate this further. Fortunately yes, but it'll keep going up until it gets to someone who isn't an idiot, who will then go ape at everyone their end before contacting IT. Things like this happen so often in print, it's depressing. Skeptical. Hell of a way to start the day. Screw people like this. Last night I did a scheduled upgrade of QuickBooks for a client. 1 server, 10 desktops, 3 databases. Went well. As usual with an upgrade like this, I'm scheduled to be on site the next day for a couple of hours to help out, answer questions about the new version. In this case scheduled for Monday morning, since like most offices they're closed over the weekends. Cell phone rings this morning at 7:30 AM. I don't recognize the number, so I ignore it. They then proceed to call back continuously for the next 10 minutes, never leaving a message until the last call. I listen to the message. It's from a staff person at the client where I upgraded QuickBooks, irate as hell, yelling QuickBooks is broken. I can't do my job. This is going to cost the company tens of thousands of dollars. You better cheesecake well get this fixed. Get over here. Call me back immediately. Etc. So I remote into the remote desktop server, verify that all is well, take a deep breath and call her back. She proceeds to berate me until she runs out of breath, never tells me what the problem is but instead focuses on how her inability to enter some transactions she didn't get to Friday is going to cause the end of life on this planet. After several minutes I finally get her to tell me what problem she's having when she runs the program. IT won't start. Does it give you an error message when you try to start it? What do you see? I can't run IT. There's no icon on the desktop. You need to get out here and fix this now. You're killing the company. Remote into her system. The icon is there, in the exact same place as it was before, but it's a different icon. Still titled QuickBooks of course, but it's a different color. I tell her to watch the screen, double click it and of course QB comes right up. I remind her that this is a new version and that some commands, screens will look a bit different. She accuses me of screwing around with it just to make things more difficult for her. I tell her that's not the case, ask her if there's anything else I can do to assist. A couple more ugly comments from her and we end the call. My phone system sends me voicemails as emails with MP3 attachments. I forwarded the email to the owner of the company and told him I expect to be treated more professionally in the future. Frankly, I hope it costs her job. Screw this and to hell with people like this. Monday update, went into the client's office this morning to assist with any issues they might have with the new version of QB, none to speak of. Complainers stayed out of my way. Literally left her desk while I was in the vicinity. As I was getting ready to leave, the owner of the firm called me into his office this morning and apologized for her voicemail tirade, said he'd have a talk with her. I was cordial, told him no need to, etc. and didn't bring up her behavior when I was trying to help her. As I left, he had her in his office and was playing back the voicemail. About a half hour later she called and apologized. Sounded very beaten down. It was clear he'd given her a major tongue lashing. Her apology was about as enthusiastic as that of a 6-year-old caught stealing cookies, but I took the high road, thanked her and told her I'd be happy to help her in the future. Didn't say any of the many things I would have liked to, because reaming her out is not worth pissing off the guy who writes the checks. Pretty much what I expected to happen. The owner's a solid guy. Has been a client for over 12 years. Nice touch with the voicemail attachment. I hope you build it as emergency rates with a fat minimum equals. Yep, anything that causes my shredded wheat to get soggy is going to cost them big time. Users like this gave me this username. I envy you. I consulted for years. I had a clause in all of my contracts charging the customer a $125 fee for being berated, insulted or yelled at. I billed that more often than I would have liked to. And GT, she accuses me of screwing around with it just to make things more difficult for her. Mom, as a matter of fact I'm employed by Internal Affairs. This has been a test of your professionalism due to multiple anonymous reports, and you have failed. The CEO of 3,500 employees just called. This happened a while back, but it's still the best thing that ever happened to me at work. True story. So, I was hired by a big defense company, upgrade tanks, naval weapons, etc., with over 3,500 employees. You can imagine this was a very big company. We were in building 34, and if you needed to go somewhere quick you took a bike or an electric car. I usually did second line support, but they had a couple of people call in sick and asked me to do first line support. It was a Friday and not much was happening, besides the usual email problems and tech guys turning off Unix machines that needed a check disk command with admin rights. The phone rings, and GT, yes hello, this the secretary of the CEO. We need you to come over now. We have a big problem. And GT, me, what seems to be wrong? And GT, Mr. CEO is trying to open a file in Word, but every time he does this, scrambled text is showing up. I think we are being hacked. This was a big issue, since a couple of weeks before this a group of activists broke into the company and climbed on top of our radar tower. And GT, me, I'll take a look from here and take over your screen. Hang on. So I take over his screen. This is what happens. File, open, And GT, I don't know what this is. You see? This is so weird. Now, I knew what was wrong at this moment, but I wanted to see in person. You don't just walk into the exec office every day. And GT, me, I'll be there as soon as possible. So I grab this electric car, drive over, and 5 minutes later I walk into the executive building. A very nice building, totally different from the rest of the offices. They even had their own dining room and bar. The security guy sees me coming and waves me through. He was informed of my coming and understood the importance. I get out of the elevator at the top floor and am greeted by the secretary, a manager and some other assistant, all a bit panicked. And GT, come over, have a look at this. The CEO says. He shows me, file, open, so I look at him. Look at every single person in that room. You could feel the suspense. I look back at the computer. I pick up the newspaper that was on top of the keyboard and ask, and GT, try again please? The looks on their face, priceless. A free lunch with the CEO. Edit formatting. Good job. When I was doing internal IT at a company HQ before my current job, I had a somewhat similar situation, minus the hacking scare. The IT VP wanted me to replace his laptop because the screen died. I go over, see the pin that shuts off the screen is stuck in, press on it lightly with the tip of my pen, boom, screen rises from the dead. Free lunch. This was my first real job too. I was young enough to be excited by little things like this still. But I'm still ecstatic when I get a free meal, be it from management or coupon. It's like cheating capitalism. Reminds me of the awkward conversation you have to have with the well-endowed lady who is resting on the keyboard. Deleted. My mother did the same thing with a dinner plate. She was typing an email out and every time she tries to type the thingamajig pops up. Thingamajig doesn't help me much. So I ask her to tell me exactly what the window says, starting with the blue bar at the top. She says it says open file. So she's getting an open dialog box while trying to type. So I ask her what word she's trying to type. Toilet. She tells me she can get the T to show up just fine, but when she types the O, she gets the dialog box. Obviously at this point the control key is being pressed. I ask her what's on the keyboard, if anything spilled, if any of the keys are stuck. Negative to all of those. Of course, she's saying no as I'm not even halfway through asking the question. So I ask her to look at the keyboard. There's nothing on there. I ask her to humor me and look down. There's a few moments of silence and I can quite clearly hear something scraping across the tabletop. I stifle a chuckle and ask if she can type regularly now. She can, and she tells me it was her dinner plate, pressing down the control and shift keys on the left side of the keyboard. I haven't let her live it down yet, and this was about 7 years ago. The thing I love about those instances is that it takes someone with true experience and not just technical knowledge to know what the problem is. I'm not a tech, I'm just a guy who's good with computers, but I'd fix colleagues' computers at work and they'd just be like WTF. That was a totally abstract solution, how would you even think of diagnosing it like that? This is always gold for business. I once helped an old guy in my company, who has an employee number somewhere around 1x, we're in the 39xx employee numbers now. Ever since then, he insists on me helping him, and he gave me his business card. It's like a get out of jail free card.